Welcome to Hey Clarity. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today we are opening the Akashic Records on the solar eclipse in Aries. The questions that we're going to ask are, what is the energy of this solar eclipse? How can we best navigate this energy? What is eclipsing into our lives? What is eclipsing out of our lives? And what's the most important message we need to know? Let's get into it. What is the energy of the solar eclipse in Aries? They're like, got it, gotcha. Like almost like grabbing something, you grabbed it, like something that you've been wanting or someone that's been wanting you, like gets you. I'm getting like make connections. Makes connections. So connections are made, and it could be like material things, like got this thing that I needed, this material thing that I need, or it could be like making new connections with people, like gotcha, got it, got you. But it just feels like an achievement, like a victory, a clean, clear victory. Like this isn't like, it's not like taking over or like anything against your will. It's like, it's a good, like, I got it. And again, it could be either like, gotcha, got it, like you got something that you've been wanting, or someone has been wanting you or something from you and they've got you now. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Anything else? What is the energy? I'm getting the word like colorful orb, and I'm seeing this like colorful, like multicolored orb kind of like coming down from the sky. They're just saying colorful, like colorful world even. There's like a frequency or an energetic frequency that is colorful, that is basically coming into the world, like communities, and it's making things more colorful. And we might experience this as, if you're in the northern hemisphere, like spring, just noticing more than ever the colors of the flowers, how things are blooming, fragrance in the air from plants and flowers. Like it's almost like the world is in technicolor. Why is that happening? Our awareness, our heightened sensitivity, our self-awareness, it's like hyper. They're like technicolor, like hyper technicolor. So we're just gonna, like when you're out in the world, when you're like out in nature, driving around, seeing landscapes, like everything is just gonna feel and look more vibrant to you. And they're like, feel the inspiration. Like feel the, how well and healthy it feels to be observing, bearing witness, and taking in the vibrancy of the world around you. And they're like into summer, into fall. Like it just feels like there's this high vibrancy and the world looks more colorful. So it's like embrace it and enjoy yourself. Like enjoy the inspiration, enjoy the exploration, enjoy the adventure that comes from witnessing and engaging and being a part of like the vibrancy of nature. So again, being in the northern hemisphere specifically, so maybe most of you who are watching are in the northern hemisphere. Yeah, they're just saying vibrancy, like very colorful. This like colorful, like energetic frequency is just like boom, coming down to earth to just create inspiration. That's pretty cool. I'm into that. They just said like nature's show. Okay. There's a twinge of sadness here. It's a cry for help. It's making me emotional. Wow. This is part of it. Sometimes when you channel, they bring up emotions in you to get the message across. Sorry. Nature is putting on a show to remind us of who we are and that we live in this beautiful world, and not to forget that. Holy shit, that's intense, guys. Okay. There's a reason behind this higher frequency that's coming down to like impact us. I'm so sorry, but it's real shit, guys. Okay, get me out of that. Nature's cry for help. And it's like, you know, we've been having all these natural disasters, right? They're getting bigger, they're getting scarier. And I'm almost like begging at this point, like, please study permaculture. It's like our only way forward in this world. Like treating the planet with respect, co-creating and designing with the ecosystems, taking care of the plants and animals in the world. And I feel like they're telling me to say this, like, give a shit about nature. Like, really care about it and take care of it. Whatever that means. You're gonna garden, you're gonna, like, you know, be with your pets and your animals out in nature. Like, just really get in the earth, get in this world and enjoy it, because it's fucking beautiful. And people may make things ugly. People may create destruction of our resources, they're saying. Nutrition, the nutrients, the beauty, the beautiful landscapes. They're saying don't let them do that. And what that means is, like, protect your piece of land, protect your natural resources, protect your areas. Go to the parks, go for hikes, go on road trips, like, do all of this. It's such a serious cry for help. So especially because, like, it's spring, summer, and we have all this vibrant, colorful inspiration in the world. They're like, get outside, be a part of it, because you are a part of it. Whew. Jesus, okay. How can we best navigate this energy? They're like, don't cry. They're like, don't cry. They're like, enjoy it, enjoy yourself. Enjoy all of it. And, like, making new connections, like, outside. So, like, I'm just getting, like, they're really about, like, making new connections and, like, making new friends. Like, people are making new friends. So, like, go to that outdoor event, go to that, like, live music event, go to that like, exercise movement class that's outside. Connect with people outside, like, out in the world, enjoying nature. Go on, like, group retreats, they're saying, like, go on group trips, hang out in your parks, just be out and about. They're like, listening to the birds, like, looking at all the critters and the creatures, like, pay attention, like, what are all the animals that are in your area? Like, get to know your area and, like, You got squirrels, you got chipmunks, you got bluebirds, like you got hawks. Like, what do you have in your area? You have foxes, you have bears. Like, what do you have? They're like, kind of like tune in and tap into like the nature in your area and start having more of a relationship with like knowing that they live with you too. And what does it mean? Okay, while we're in survival mode, they're like, you know, when you're in survival mode, we're very people first. And they're like, don't forget about the plants and animals. Like, how can we care about them too? How can we make sure that they feel secure and safe? You know, whether that's like rehabilitation, whether that's making sure that they have their natural resources preserved, like that there's an area, that there's forest for them, whatever land they need to flourish. It's again like kind of the pulse of permaculture, of like knowing when to give it a boost and support it and when to like sit back and let nature do its job. But it is very valuable to study permaculture for the future. And if you want to maintain any type of, you know, inspiration and hope for the world, it's in permaculture. And there's a spectrum of like how much of it you can incorporate into your life, but it is very valuable information just to know about the future. Oh, okay. What's eclipsing into our lives? What's eclipsing into our lives? They're just like love. Like there's a dance of grief and love. A dance of grief and love. It really just, it's like they're kind of almost like this is the eclipsing in and out. Like it's like grief eclipses in, but then what replaces grief is love. Like they're right next to each other doing this dance. So it's like they're kind of saying eclipse in and out is like grief and love, grief or love. Are you feeling grief? Are you feeling like an overflowing of love? They're a bit like interchanging. They're having interreactions with each other. Anything else eclipsing in? I'm getting love. Like, it's almost like it does this dance of like grief, love, grief, love, grief, love, for like love to be like the main focus. And sometimes it takes tremendous grief for us to feel the overflowing, tremendous love, they're saying, of like human nature, like humanity, the love of humanity, and what humanity should be, what we are made of, but we have forgotten and we're very disconnected from that. So there may be like tumultuous events that occur, tumultuous acts that occur that test us and push us into states of grief, like breakdowns and breakthroughs, to this overflowing of love. So they're like tumultuous acts and tumultuous events. And they're saying like, never forget like the love that is humanity when it's at its best. And they're saying like, unfortunately, the disconnection that we have around love as our nature costs lives. it costs many lives, thousands of lives, hundreds of thousands of lives for us to like wake up and care, to make love a priority, to recognize it as a part of human nature and like the best of humanity. So they're like, unfortunately, in today's world, it costs lives for us to learn that lesson. But they're like, there are many ways to get there where lives, you don't have to sacrifice lives to remember that. You just have to remember that on like a daily basis. Yeah. So eclipsing in is this dance between grief and love. Specifically, what is eclipsing out for us? What is eclipsing out? Tumultuous acts and events. This feels like people stuff. So I'm getting like ridiculous. Like, it feels like there may be more people doing such outrageous acts, hurtful, harmful events take place. They're almost saying in the next like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, like it's gonna build up, that it's just so wrongful. It's so wrong. It's so harmful that like these big hands in the sky, which feels like spirit, like God and all people, just say enough. Like something so harsh and harmful and destructive takes place. I'm getting like a form of people, like a type of people, create such destruction. And it's so obvious to like everyday people, to like the mass populations who are more in touch with like reality and humanity, like the best of humanity, that it's just like enough. Like, this is done. That's too bad. That's too much. Like, we are not accepting this. We are not buying into this. We are not embracing these belief systems. It's like a huge, like, fuck that. This is too much. We're so done. And like, I see like mass population like getting together and just deciding we're fucking moving forward no matter what. We're just going to move forward and move on from this type of people and do what we need to do to like make the world a better place. It doesn't matter if these horrible people or I'm getting like horrible person. There's like few main persons, was what they're saying, few main people that are, you know, creating the destruction in these tumultuous acts and events. But like the rest of the world, everyday people, mass populations are like I'm getting like wanting to do great, like doing great. And so they're like, just do that, like move forward with your people, with your communities, and just like keep making your like local, hyper local world a better place. And they're like, you might be, they keep saying tumultuous acts and events. This might have us like popcorn around countries, cities, towns. Like, I can't live here anymore. I'm gonna go find another place. We might be traveling and moving, but they're saying like popcorn. Like, these tumultuous acts and events are creating like mass destructive movement also, like mass destructive to move. They're mass destructive to move us, for movement. Like chaos and destruction. And I'm getting like we're being called to like move forward with community, in our communities that care and love each other. And like, where do you go for that? Where do you find that? And like, make sure, they're saying for certain, that like safety first, they're saying, like, make sure like safety is like the first priority of like where you're moving, where you're going, where you're traveling, where you're exploring, where you're adventuring. Do your research. Because it's like, again, with this popcorn, things are happening all over the world. And people are like, whoa, gotta get out of here, gotta move here, gotta move there. And so there's a lot of like observation that needs to take place, and like witnessing and like doing your research of like safety and precautions of the movement and like where you're going. So what's eclipsing out is like we're so done with that type of person, and we know what type of person we're done with. But they're like, there's many people who like share that communication style, they're saying, share that lack of care of people. And so it's not just these like big talking heads on screens, but it's also the communities that resonate with that, right? This like mirror, this reflection of like, well, there's a population of people who look at that and say, yes, I agree with that harmful, hurtful, destructive behavior. They're almost kind of saying like, leave that place behind, leave those places behind, and like, let it burn. Like, it's self-destructive. They're saying that things that are outwardly destructive, those who create destruction, are very self-destructive. So it's almost like they want us to like let this pile of self-destructive people be in their little corner of the world, while the rest of us make the place much better. So like, they're like, create your world, like with your communities. What's the most important message we need to know about the solar eclipse in Aries? They're like crying out. Everyone's crying out. Everything is crying out. Mercy, mercy. Like, this is like a rock bottom, like a global rock bottom. The mercilessness is too much to bear. And they're like, certainly don't bear it alone. But it's calling out, it's coming out, it's coming through for us to see very clearly what's wrong. They're like, there's no question. Like, the division of those who are healthy and those who are unhealthy. Those who are like creative, solution-based problem solvers, and those who are self-destructive, destructive, obsessed with destruction. No care of people, of planet, of the world, of each other, and of themselves. There's this split, and it is so clear that there's no going back. So they're like, make your choices and your moves based on that. And like based on community care. Like, and they're saying like, it could be harsh. Like, some of these like endings could be harsh if they're like in your like personal life, right? Like friendships, relationships, colleagues, bosses, like whatever, like any area of your life where this type of person, this unhealthy, unwell, like destructive personality type of people, they're saying, it's gotta go. And if it's not gonna get better, and they're like, don't hold your breath, you have to go. You have to move. You have to leave. You have to get away. And it's all to move forward. I just got chills up my legs. So no matter where you are in the world, no matter, you know, what's going on, it's like, they're like, safety first, and be movable. be movable. They're like, if you can swing it, and if you can't swing it, like if you can't move, they're saying affordability, accessibility, like they understand that we live in a world that is not always affordable. Then they're like, hold the community really close to you, like bring people into you. If you can't go, have them around you, either physically or by keeping in touch on a regular basis, like all the ways that we can connect today, like virtually, travel, short trips, long trips, whatever, in person. They're just like, this is like, hold tight, hold on tight to your people. Anything else? Most important message. Yeah, they're just like, it's all crying out to be seen, to be heard, and it's all coming out. Okay, that was intense. I don't know what to say about this solar eclipse in Aries. A lot of heartbreak, a lot of grief, a lot of love, tough times. Really sick of those destructive people. I know if you're watching this, like, preaching to the choir, you're not one of them. But this is obviously advice for us of how we can manage ourselves around that, and like what we can do in the face of that. They're saying, like, don't believe that that's all that there is, because they're like, there's more of you than there are of them. And unfortunately, it is this split of like us and them, the like healthy parts of humanity and the unhealthy parts of humanity. And it's like 60-40. They're like 60% are healthy and like 40% are like, they're calling them rotten. Like rotten people to the core. And they're like, don't mind them. Like, don't mind them. And don't let them hold you back or keep you from moving forward. Like, no matter what you see on screens, they're saying, on your very many screens, no matter what you see, keep the focus on like your immediate people and the people in your environment, and just like keep in touch. How's it going? You know, they're like, be there for each other in community, near and far. Okay. I don't want to say I hope you enjoyed that, but I hope you got some support from that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.